All right, so for the first step in the in some of the topics we're going to cover, I first want to talk about the planning and research phase of your hiking trip. So every good hiking trip, there's going to be some research put into the beginning. You don't just go, kind of out on your own and go on a hike without planning anything first. So some of the first things I recommend is find a good trail near you. There's a lot of good websites. One that I use that I have an account signed up for is called TrailLink. You can use TrailLink. You can type in the city that you're in, and then it'll show you a bunch of hiking trails nearby. You can filter them based on the terrain that you'll be hiking on, the distance, how far away it is from you, how long the trail is. And once you kind of put all those filters on, you can find the perfect trail for you and what you're planning on. If you want to do a long, full day hike, you can look for a 7, 8 mile loop and walk that. If you're feeling just a quick little hike with friends and you only want to do, say, a mile, mile and a half, there's those as well. And you can use all these filters to find those. And so I really enjoy using TrailLink. One thing that I definitely recommend is once you have your path picked out, print off a paper with the map, and then a map of the entire trail, and then highlight the path that you want to take and have that planned ahead of time. Because by having that plan ahead of time, it's going to make it a lot easier for you, and you're going to have a much easier time not getting lost while you're on the trails. Um, you also want to do your research. Pick a good day to go. Make sure that you're checking weather ahead of time. If it's a Wednesday afternoon and you're trying to plan a hike for the upcoming Saturday, make sure you give yourself enough of a window where you have time to prepare for it and let the people know that you're going with too. If you want to bring people with you, give them ample time to be prepared for it. But then make sure you're checking things like the weather conditions that day so that you can be prepared with all your gear. If you see that it's going to be raining all day, might not be the best day to go on a hike. The trail's going to be slippery. Might be a lot of mud and debris kind of going everywhere, and you might want to wait for a nicer day. But check your weather. Check the UV index. That's a good way too. Also check for like clouds and the UV index to see if you'll need sunscreen or a hat or something, because a lot of the gear that you wind up packing for your trip is going to be dependent on the weather. Um, know what time of the season you're going. If you're going in the winter, you might, and there's snow on the trail, you might want things like snowshoes or ice cleats to help you not slip and fall. If you're going in the early spring or later in the fall, bring layers. It's going to be a lot colder than in the summer. In the summer is when a lot of the bugs are going to be out, so that's when you're going to want to make sure to bring bug spray and things like that. And again, by just doing your research, being prepared, knowing the trail you're going to hike, looking up any safety concerns, you'll be way better set for when it comes time to go on your hike. So now that we've covered the planning and research stuff, I want to talk about some of the packing and preparation stuff. So packing and preparing for your hiking trip is one of the most important things. The gear that you bring is what you have to work with, and if anything is to happen, it's important that you have it. Now, again, this goes back into the planning phase. If you're only going on a 1 mile hike, you probably don't need that much stuff to go with you on the hike. Maybe a water, some snacks, extra change of clothes, stuff like that. But if you're going on a 2, 3 day excursion with a lot of hikes in between, and you know you're going to be camping, that's going to increase how much stuff you need. So plan accordingly ahead of time. Obviously, don't overpack, but I always say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So if there's a chance you think you might need something, you're better off just bringing it than leaving it behind. But at the same time, you don't want to overpack. So there's a little bit of a fine line to walk, but I think you'll be pretty good at it. So for starters, for me, my example today is we are going on a 4 mile hike, just a normal 4 mile hike 2 miles to a waterfall and 2 miles back. So for me, what I always like to bring is a backpack. Um, yeah, just a normal regular backpack here with 3 pockets. So when I hike, I usually it's early spring here right now, so the weather depending, I'm gonna wear a pair of shorts and then a t-shirt and a long sleeve like I have on now. That's what I'd wear out hiking. I will always pack an extra sweatshirt in case it is to get cold out. Always bring a sweatshirt. Make sure you again bundle your layers. I like folding my stuff up to put it in my backpack. It just saves space, I think. I'll usually tuck the stuff that I think I might not need towards the bottom, just then it's easier to leave behind. If there's stuff I'm going to need a lot of, leave it towards the top so that you're not rifling through and taking apart your whole backpack. Along with an extra sweatshirt, I'll always bring a pair of sweatpants to go over the shorts in case it gets cold out. And then it is a little cloudy out, so I'm bringing my rain jacket, my little rain windbreaker here, just in case the rain does start coming. There's not much on the forecast, but there's a small chance, and I want to be prepared in case it does start raining. I will also bring an extra pair of socks. These are the same socks I'm wearing now. I prefer longer socks above the ankles up to about the mid shin when I'm going out hiking. in on the off chance that you do go against some like vegetation or stuff like that, or walk along some sticks or bushes with your legs out, that's a very good spot for bugs and ticks and stuff to try and grab onto your legs, as well as any like poison ivy or plants that can cause some irritation or itchiness. So by wearing longer socks, you can help prevent that and keep the bugs and the plants off you. I always bring an extra pair of socks in case feet get wet or something like that, or my feet start sweating. I know I'm going to a waterfall, so if I do take my shoes off and wade around in the water for a bit, I want to have an extra pair of socks in case one gets wet. Speaking of shoes as well, make sure when you're on your hiking trail, you're wearing proper footwear and proper gear. We've gone over the proper gear so far. Just normal athletic clothes. You don't want to go for a hike in a spring dress, and you don't want to go for a hike in a four-piece suit. Wear athletic clothes, t-shirt, shorts, long sleeve stuff you're okay sweating in, and you can move around pretty comfortably in. And for footwear, I know plenty of people in my family, as well as just friends, who, when they go hiking, they like to wear open-toed shoes or sandals or Crocs or something like that. They're not the best. They don't provide the best grip or the best traction when you're hiking. You can slip, and your feet are just exposed to all the elements, all the rocks, all the bugs, all the plants, everything like that. It's important to keep your feet protected. For me, I have just a basic hiking outdoor shoe here. It's got a little bit of tread on the bottom, some cleats here that can help grip stuff, but the cleats and ridges on here aren't that long to the point where they're going to be tearing up the ground or keeping me stuck or anything. But it's still got good traction, so I won't be sliding around on any gravel stuff. I always make sure when I put my shoes on, double knot your shoes, make sure they're tight, make sure your socks are on good so you don't get any blisters. You're going to be walking a lot, so make sure you have shoes that are comfortable but that you're safe walking in, and that can keep you safe on the trail and you won't slip or anything like that. Along with extra clothes, some other things to bring. I always, in case of emergency, in case someone falls, I always bring a pack of band-aids. I'll throw these always in the big pocket in the front. I don't plan on using them, but just in case I do need them, it's good to have them. Me wearing glasses, I don't plan on wearing sunglasses, so if my glasses are to break, I have my contacts here with me. If an emergency is to happen, I'll throw those in. Always bring a plastic bag with you. I bring this bag with me because in this activity, when we go hiking, we're going to be following the No Trace guidelines set up by the Leave No Trace organization to just preserve nature, be good hikers, be good environmentalists, good outdoorsmen. And so we're responsible for all our garbage. So I bring a plastic bag with me. I just keep it in the side. If I do find any garbage that's mine or not mine, if I do create any garbage, I make sure to throw it in the plastic bag and take it all out with me. There's always going to be designated garbage spots along trails or in campsites. So if you're ever confused, just look for those. Otherwise, your best bet, excuse me, is to just take your garbage with you wherever you're going. Take it with you when you leave the trail, stuff like that. For this activity as well, I want us to be journaling our trip. I will sometimes journal. I don't do it often, but I sometimes will. If you can't find a small journal like this, your phone works just fine in the Notes app. You can do that. But I like a small journal like this, and I just like sometimes when I go to my destination on the hike, like the waterfall, I like to just sit for a while and record what I see, what I hear, stuff that's going on, some cool things I see in nature to really help my experience. So that's what we're going to be doing for this assignment. This is going to help with our reflection at the end. So I want us to make sure we're bringing our notebook and pen along to record stuff along the way, record how we're feeling. Now that I've got these, I've got my clothes, I've got my emergency equipment. Again, if I were to stay overnight somewhere, I would want a lot more equipment. I want to bring like a tent or a sleeping bag, maybe even just a tarp to keep the rain off me if it is to get rainy at night for some shelter. If you're staying overnight, you're gonna want some sort of fire starter, whether that be matches or a lighter. Um, you'll want some food for a quick 1.5 mile hike like this. I You probably don't need any snacks. If you do think you'll need a snack, I think granola bars are great. Cliff bars are a good source of energy. Some fruit like apples or a banana or something like that are also awesome. But even with apples and bananas, even though parts of them are biodegradable, still take your garbage with you. We don't want to leave any garbage. As parts of the Leave No Trace guidelines, we want to leave the place better than when we found it. So it's very important that you clean up all your garbage. Um, like I said, along with food, if we're camping overnight, you might want to bring food, more garbage disposal stuff. You might need a bigger bag then to bring more clothes, a change of clothes and stuff with you. But it depends on your trip. You know what to plan for. There's plenty of websites. I linked one in the lesson plan for just a good packing list for beginning campers. If you're not sure what to bring, reference that list. It's a fantastic list. It tells you all the important stuff to bring for emergency scenarios, and you'll be set with that. For the hike, I always like to bring a water bottle. I like to opt for a hard plastic or metal or sorry, a metal water bottle here over a plastic one. It's just it'll keep my water colder longer, helps keep ice from melting in there, and this is a lot easier for me to keep track of and not want to lose instead of a plastic bottle. And I don't have to throw this away at the end, and I don't have any garbage because of that. I'm also bringing in. I always bring a hat with just in case the sun is to come out. I will sometimes pack sunscreen if I see that the UV is going to be high, but I'll pack a hat with always just in case the sun starts coming out. My hair's getting a little messy and it's windy or something. I want to keep the sun out of my eyes for any reason. Again, just good to be prepared. And so at the end, I got a backpack that looks about like this. Got my water. I'll have any snacks in here. I've got all my emergency equipment like a flashlight. I recommend bringing a flashlight, a multi-tool, a compass, things where you'll be set if an emergency is to happen. Now, a lot of the trails that I hike are not super like, kind of in the woods trails. They're pretty well walked. You'll run into a few people along the trail, so you're not like in the middle of nowhere. But if you do start to take those less traveled trails, you're definitely going to want to be more and more prepared. And it's always good to walk into a situation prepared. Um, which then leads into some of our safety concerns. So once you have your backpack like this, and you're all set and you're prepared and ready for your camping trip, sorry, for your hiking trip, it then falls on you to help facilitate and recognize any safety concerns for the hiking trip. So this kind of leads into the assignment here, where what we're doing as students is I want you to take the knowledge that you've gained so far from this, and I want you to facilitate your own camping or your own hiking trip. And what goes into that is the planning and research, like we went over before, where you're going to be checking the weather, you're going to be checking the trail, you're going to make sure you have everything set so that you can run a safe trip. And then also the packing and preparation. You want to make sure you have everything prepared. You want to make sure you relay the information to the people going with you on your trip. You're going to be bringing at least two other people with you on this trip who are not in this class. And so I want you to kind of facilitate them through this. Give them the information that you've gotten here through this. Uh, what to bring. Make sure everyone brings their own backpack, brings their own stuff. And again, following the Leave No Trace guidelines when we're out hiking, which I'll cover in a little bit. Make sure you're cleaning up after yourself, leaving the place better than when you found it. Make sure everybody's prepared and ready to go for this trip. For your facilitation and safety concerns for your own trip, it's really important that you keep the group together and you follow all the safe hiking guidelines. So again, follow and leave no trace. Stay on paths that are already worn down on the hiking trail. There's designated paths. They're highlighted on the maps for a reason. If you see any other trail that's not on a map, don't take it. We don't recommend those. Those are probably animal paths, and if you go on those, you can really wind up disturbing some of the natural habitats of these animals. Do your best to avoid stepping on any plants. If there's small sprouts growing up for plants, try not to step on them. Stay as close to the middle of the path as you can. Any sticks or anything that have fallen down, try not to disturb them. Obviously, again, just don't go off the path. Go drive. You drive where the road is. You don't drive off on the side of the road. You should do the same thing when you're walking on a hiking trail. Walk down the main path. Don't try to make your own trail. That's usually how people wind up getting lost or injured, and how the wildlife winds up getting damaged. We wind up leaving trash in places that it shouldn't be, or disturbing the wildlife where it shouldn't be. Um, Another thing that goes into your facilitation is the safety concerns for your trip. So you want to be well documented. The people going on your trip, are there any allergies to any natural things? If someone is allergic to bees and you're going on a trip outdoors, you should absolutely have them prepared with an EpiPen if something is to happen. Again, for the emergency supplies, if you're say you're planning on staying overnight, bring a fire starter, bring a flashlight, bring things to keep you prepared in the worst case scenario. Obviously, don't anticipate the worst case scenario happening, but be prepared for it. That's the best tip that I can give you for hiking is just be prepared. Which again, if you pack a quality bag for your hiking trip, you will be absolutely set. You'll have all the things you could possibly need for a trip, and it all just comes back to the planning stage. That's why I'm building on these. One builds right on top of the other. Once you have a good plan set for the trail that you're hiking, when you're hiking it, what the weather's going to be, what you might need. Once you know all that, then you know what to pack and prepare. And then once you're packed and prepared, you're set to then facilitate and run your own hiking trip. So I want you to take all that information, build those on each other, and we are going to open the floor for discussion now for the classroom about any other things that you think we should bring along on the trip or any other safety concerns or questions you have about information.